Hello and welcome to today's flight. Today we're going to be testing several things I have ordered but haven't yet received. The RealSimGear GTN750 bezel. Those are back ordered. I think they updated the product and they're waiting to roll out the updated products to the various vendors that sell them. It's December 3rd today. I probably won't see that until January. So in the interim, what I did was something pretty cool just so that it will allow me to get used to the product before it even arrives. And that is I took an iPad mini and I set it up at the same location where the RealSimGear product is going to be installed. And I used a program called Desk Space, which allows you to create an additional monitor using your iPad. So essentially the iPad serving as an extra monitor. And what I did was I took the TDS GTN750xi program, and I am able to project that into the iPad and allows me to interact with the iPad as if it were the RealSimGear product. In other words, I can use touchscreen and all the normal stuff that I expect you'll be able to use when I get the RealSimGear product. So I'm going to be setting up a GoPro camera that's going to show my interactions with my sim, more specifically with the iPad, which is behaving as the RealSimGear product will behave. And while simultaneously recording my flight, and I'm also going to be using ForeFlight. I'm going to be projecting my second iPad screen onto the PC screen so that you'll be able to see my interactions with ForeFlight during the flight. It's going to be a complex flight. I'm going to be flying using Pilot Edge. I'm going to file a very simple and short flight plan from Tacoma Narrows Airport, which is Kilo Tango India Whiskey, to Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango, which is Bremerton National Airport. It's only about 20 miles from Tacoma Narrows. However, when I shoot the approach, I'm going to intentionally fly the missed approach using the GTN750 to guide me to the missed approach point and enter into a hold. And then I'm going to ask for an additional clearance from the Pilot Edge controller. I'm going to ask for a clearance to Olympia Regional Airport. Then I'm going to fly a missed approach there, and then back to Bremerton National Airport and fly a different approach to a landing. So I'm going to try to make this a complex scenario for training purposes. I'll be filming the whole thing. It'll be kind of long. I'll edit out longer sections, but hopefully you'll be able to gain some insight into the interactions with the various peripherals as we progress through the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump inside the airplane and get started. Okay, so here we are on the ground, Tacoma Narrows Airport. I've got two cameras going. Not cameras, but one camera's going. That's going to be this guy right here, and that's to show our interactions with our iPad mini, which right now I have the GTN750xi being projected onto. And again, that simulates when we do get the RealSimGear product. That's going to be right here, and very similar, although there's going to be a couple of extra features that the iPad mini is not going to offer. One of them is going to be the Direct to, the other is going to be the frequency or the selector knob and those sorts of things. But we have more or less the touchscreen features that the GTN product is going to have. So I got that going. It's going to show us doing our thing over here. It's also going to show you pretty much a overall view of the simulator, and we're going to talk through setting up a flight plan. The other thing I'm going to do, and there's going to be a lot going on here, but this is ForeFlight. I have that being projected onto the PC screen. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go ahead and build the flight plan that we're going to fly here today, and that's going to be Tacoma Narrows to Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango. That's a short flight. And we're going to fly that just to give you a look at what that full flight plan is. And the leg distance is only going to be 15 nautical miles. It's really close. But once we get there, we're going to fly the missed approach procedure. So it's going to kind of complicate things a little bit for us. So let's go ahead and click on procedures over here and approach. And we're going to fly let's do the ILS. And we're going to do that from the WMAX intersection, and that's what that's going to look like. This is a pretty cool feature ForeFlight has. When you select a procedure for an approach, it brings up this view, and it's going to give you the frequencies. I'm going to go ahead and set 111.10, and let's go ahead and set that. That's going to be our localizer frequency. AWAS is 121.2. I'm going to go ahead and set that in standby and have 124.05. That's going to be set in our active. That's Tacoma Narrows AWAS. All right, that's good to go. And I have the what would be the tower frequency here at Tacoma Narrows, but the Pilot Edge is which we're going to be flying today. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be flying Pilot Edge air traffic control, so they don't treat this as a towered airport. So we're going to treat that as a CTAF frequency, and then we're going to put the CTAF at Bremerton, which is 123.05. Okay, got all that stuff set up, and that's going to be our flight plan. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to insert after. I'm going to go ahead and put WMUX in there. Even though that's going to be part of the procedure, it's always helpful to add that. Okay, so that's good to go for flight. And we're going to be popping that view up periodically throughout the flight. It's going to be going away anytime I interact with the PC screen. That's going to go away. So there'll be times when it disappears, and then I'll make it reappear. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and program. So here you can see me interacting with the iPad. It's behaving. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do something here that might be helpful. So let's go ahead and bring a close-up of the panel so you can kind of see what's going on here. Now, this airplane, which is the Cessna 414 setup, I have it set up with twin GTN750s. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge this message over here. And I'm going to go ahead and set, I'll leave that on flight plan view. I'm going to acknowledge that over here. That's inside airspace. Okay, so now everything I'm doing right now, as you can see, is going to be interacting with the iPad. Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango is our destination airport. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing I did on the ForeFlight, which is to insert after, and I'm going to put the WMUX. That bonk was because I accidentally pressed the wrong letter and it didn't recognize it as a valid waypoint. So that's in there. Now we're going to go back to the main screen here to procedure, and we're going to put our approach in, which is going to be the ILS 20, and we're going to put WMUX in there. Okay. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and load that approach. Now it's going to tell you, since this is a localizer approach, it's going to be, navigation is going to be via radio. It's telling you, hey, we're only offering you GPS guidance for monitoring purposes, but you have to fly the approach according to the localizer frequency. So we're acknowledging that, and everything's good to go. I'm going to go up, and that's going to show our first waypoint, which is WMUX. And that's the clearance that we put into Pilot Edge, and hopefully they'll give that to us. Here we're going to go ahead and click. For now, we're going to just squawk a VFR, and then they'll give us, I'm going to go ahead and enter that. So that's got a squawk and altitude VFR, and then they'll give us a squawk code when we get our clearance. Okay. So there's going to be a few things we're going to do. So it's not simply going to be flying to Bremerton National Airport. We're actually going to fly multiple missed approaches. So let's go ahead and do split screen here. So we have, like this, Bremerton. That's full screen, and we're going to zoom out just a little bit. That's not the approach we want. So let's go back to split screen. We're going to go to approaches, and we want the ILS. Okay, so that's that. We're going to go full screen and zoom in a little bit here. So that's the ILS. We have 111.1 tuned in. That's the localizer. Final approach course is 197 degrees. The decision altitude is 642 feet, which is, as you can see right here, 200 feet above the runway threshold. So we're going to fly that down to our minimums, and then we're going to execute a missed approach. And the missed approach calls for climbing to 4,000 feet on heading 197, and then inbound on the Olympia VOR 346 radial to Caro intersection, and hold. And the hold's going to look like this. So we'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see it better. So that's what the hold's going to look like. It's 166 degrees inbound right turns at Caro. So now let's go ahead and bring ForeFlight back up. I always like to add the missed approach waypoint. So we're going to put Caro in there, and this is for our situational awareness and reference as we fly this. I'm going to make that go away, and that's going to show our full flight. And then that's basically the missed approach right there. So runway heading, and then we're going to fly the 346 radial Olympia VOR to. Oops, we're not. Didn't do that for us, did it? So that's. Let me hide this plate. Hang on a sec. I'm going to hide the plate. We're going to go to IFR low view here. That's IFR low. Yeah, pretty much. This is we're gonna add one more waypoint in here, and that's gonna be Jovka. Right, so we'll add that guy, and then that's a better representation of the hold at Caro. So now we're going to long press on Caro. We're going to ask for more details, more. We're going to create a hold. There's 2 published holds there. This has inbound right turns 170. Add that to the route, and that's going to be our hold. All right, so that is the Bremerton piece. So then now what we're going to do then is, to really complicate this, is we're going to ask for a clearance to Olympia Airport. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go split screen just to show you. And we're going to change airports to KOLM, and then we're going to pick an approach there. So going to approaches, full screen. That looks good. Let's fly the ILS 17. That's got our localizer frequency there. So that the idea is, once we're in our hold, we're going to go ahead and set up in our GTN750 the new approach, and we're going to ask for clearance to Olympia Airport, and then we'll ask for the ILS 17. They'll give us vectors. We'll ask for the ILS 17, and they'll hopefully vector us in to the final approach course and intercept the localizer on. Final heading is 176 degrees, and then the minimums there is 407, which is 200 feet above runway threshold. Then we're going to fly the missed approach there, and that's calling for climbing to 1,400 on runway heading, and then climb to 5,500, and we're going to be outbound on the Olympia 176, radial to the Cetra intersection, and then we're going to hold there and continue in the hold to 5,500 if we're not already at 5,500 by then. And then, just to mix things up a little more, we're going to go to Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango again, but we're going to shoot a different approach. We're going to shoot the RNAV2. Let's go to full screen, and that's the RNAV2, and that's calling for a decision height, which is an LPV minimum of 772 feet. We'll fly that down to the runway. So lots of stuff is going to be going on, lots of frequency changes, lots of flight plans being entered on the fly. Let's go back to our map view. And we're going to go ahead and finish our run-up, and then we'll bring the video back, and then we'll get on with Pilot Edge and get our clearance and be on our way.